So today we're going over the trike build we've been doing. I will show you at a distance. Here, I'm going to turn you sideways. I hope it doesn't mess anything up, because I want to get the whole... Let's see here. Actually, maybe I could do like this. Oh no, that's too far in. I want to go out. Okay, there it is. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, so anyways, we're going to go back over the trike build that we were doing. We've done a lot to it for my son. And now I'm going to zoom back in a little bit. As you can see, we've put a roll cage on it. And I'll go over everything. And I'll show you what we did today. Okay, so let's go over this part. So today we did this. And what we needed was an air filter for the carburetor right here. And we built the adapter plate to bolt on an air filter housing piece with an air filter, which is going to be made out of this little bathroom trash can. And we're going to be using a filter from a shop vac. We have a saw blade and the lid over there for the top and bottom. We're going to use some rivets because we don't have what we need to weld stainless steel. So we'll use some rivets, unless we want to solder too, but we'll rivet it together. But today we made that, so what happens is, like any filter, this bolt comes out and then it screws down through the top of your filter housing, clamping it down just like any old school, throttle body with a circular filter on it. So we did that today. Now, as you can see, we had to cut our own plate out, tack arms up, tack on I believe this came off of it's like a little plate for clamping a saw blade to a chop saw, with a bolt and then a bolt, a nut and then a bolt, and basically we adapted it to the top. Now we'll move on to the next thing we've done is, as we mentioned, the roll cage got done. There's some little kinks and tweaks. And as you can see, it's got a diamond shaped pattern. The one thing that needs fixed is this bar here that I folded over, and over down there needs to come down more centered, so that way this is flush, because we're going to be putting the gas tank up here next. These are our speaker cans. We already chopped them out of the we used a DeVilbiss 1.5 gallon or something air compressor, and we chopped speaker cans out of it, so you can see that. Not quite sure if they're perfect, but I'm not looking to spend a lot of money on this project to buy straight like square tubing and all that. I'm just using scrap metal that we get. I may need to tweak that speaker can a hair to go more at an angle from what it's looking like, but in this one I need to undo the deal. And as you can see, where we were chopping stuff off of the plasma, we had to sand it, weld it shut if there's a hole, doctor it up. We got to grind these flat, weld them shut. Then we'll go, we finished this down here, which was our connection. We had to cut another circle plate, so we got, you guys haven't seen this either, we did the bottom runs on the outside, same over there. Circular plate, bottom run. We still have some welds to do the full beads on. We just tack everything in place for now. And then we'll go into this part that we've been working on is right here. We did a wood grain dash piece and embedded gauges. We got a battery, a fuel gauge. Oh, that's a little bit off. So a fuel gauge, a battery gauge, and a speedometer with blinkers. And we just found this board sitting up in the rafters and decided once we're done welding and putting everything together, we will make that our first interior piece. I will take it out and show you guys what we did. So we cut holes there through this big angle iron, and we have our other piece of our harness for it right there with the plugs for those three when we're ready. I'll just leave it off because now we gotta do a bunch of welding up here in the front. And like I said, we tacked everything together, but it needs full welded. And then we also need corner plating here to enforce this roll cage. And we're gonna be having some pieces coming over to this to brace it to the front. This needs braced down to the base on both ends to H brace this or box it out basically. We gotta design a big front fender that's gonna look like a motorcycle fender. Just lots of stuff. It still needs the deck, and we buy the slider rails for the bucket seat here that we're using to mock everything up. We also changed the exhaust to the motorcycle exhaust, so we still have to drill the holes and cut both pipes over to it. And yeah. Oh, and we welded on the hitch for a trailer to be behind this thing too. And we just gotta like grind and clean up, and then eventually it will get painted and we will make a full video on us spraying it. We won't be cutting in and out and just showing you what we've done at the end on that. You know, so that's it, guys. We've been busy just doing different projects right now. Truck's running, but it needs the carburetor tuned in a little bit better, and with the type of hernia I have, I cannot be hunched over like that for long periods, so I'm waiting for a couple days where I feel a lot better to do that and finish up the truck. But I've also done some repairs in the meantime, and I've been doing this because I want to get this body work done on this too, because all this frame is going to be plated in with 18 gauge sheet metal or whatever we can get our hands on. And the whole thing's going to be basically body worked and painted eventually. We're just starting with making the frame and the roll cage and like getting the chassis and everything how we want it, and reinforce where we need it. Like we need to do some cross bracing here for the bucket seats, and so where the front of the bucket seat stops, there's some support for the rails, and there's still a bunch of more frame work to do. And then we're going to paint the whole frame first, then we're going to plate it, and then we're going to repaint the whole thing again, so that way there's no chance for underneath the floor pan where this metal's going to be. We don't want a chance rust being on that chassis, so we're going to look at how we can plate it later and only grind what we need, and obviously the heat will probably melt some of the paint back, but in the long haul it'll at least we'll know it's protected and whatnot, so we can you know, we'll see, because we got ideas, and I might change as I go, because I'm doing this out of my head on the fly. All right, anyways, peace, prosperity, all that good stuff to you folks. Let's zoom back out one more time. Look at the overall gig. You remember there's the gauges up there. I put them on the car, but they were down here. And you know, anybody can do it. All you gotta do is just get a few tools, well, not a few, but a bunch, and just get at it. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do anything you want to do, because we're making this street legal. We're going to actually put fender wells over the tires with tail lights. We already have blinkers and a headlight up there on the top of the car, and a blinker switch for the whole front. So we're building this with very minimal. So what we have into this is we have a $150 tattoo to get it. It was kind of already built, but it was a lot shorter. You can see here where we chopped it and stretched it, where that X is. And then we basically got all this metal from jobs. Like, it's just scrap metal that was cut off ends, waste, or like I found a lot of this metal free on Craigslist. This was like scaffolding, cross braces, X braces that we chopped up. And I just got metal from things that was given to me. And so really we're only at this point doing all this work, and I've been doing lots of work to this. We're only in this project $150 to get the overall cart to begin with, and that's not, and we didn't even pay money for that. We just, you know, I did a tattoo, and here it sits. And even if we put another grand in it, we might turn this thing into something really nice, because I'm not sure how heavy it's going to get. That motor might not work, so we're building it for that, but we may need to change that. No biggie. All right, guys, peace, prosperity again. Have a good afternoon. Up with the participators and down with the haters. Stay off our channel, because I don't support negativity. We're trying to support people doing good things in life. All right, bye.